Hispanic per se that we have. The idea that we have of being Hispanic is here. So it's just about, I think, education and I don't know. It's been Alabama is not new in this. It's been the influx of immigrants here. It's been gradually. I've been here for 10 years now, and I've seen progressively how we get more and more people moving. People should be probably by this time educated on the matter. And not just worry about they're darker, they're Mexican, or because that's what they all put him. Everybody put us into Mexican, and of course nowadays we have this law, and that's gonna be worse.
How do you feel when a person refers to you as Mexican? What goes through your head?
Well, because I'm in I wouldn't say the business, but I would say in the field of educating people, I take it back and I just like, well, I'm not Mexican, I'm Colombian, and then immediately you see the face of the person like changing.
It's like,
yeah, like, really?
Oh.
And I said yes. And why you assume that I was Mexican? Mm-hmm. Oh, because you have dark hair,
mm-hmm.
and your skin is darker,
mm-hmm.
and that's what that I thought that everybody with this stereotype is Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I'm Colombian, but no, I don't really get offended or upset. But I know many people from many other countries. I have friends from Chile, and the majority of Chileans they look European.
Mm-hmm.
And so some of them get a little upset. And of course, it's every country. You want to believe that they know where you're from.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, if you're from Venezuela, and you're not gonna know that I'm from Venezuela just by looking at me. You would say, "Oh, you're Hispanic,"
mm-hmm.
right? Because
mm-hmm.
you're not gonna say, "You're from Chile" or "You're from Ecuador." No, you don't know what country I come from. You put me in that umbrella that we have all created in this country.
And it's an umbrella that says, well, you look... Excuse me, it's an umbrella that says, well, you look like this, so you must be this. I have realized that as an individual, it'll be in my best interest to keep my mind open to anything, because let me tell you, I had a situation, or I had a friend, rather, who was darker than me. A friend of mine back in high school. She was darker than me, and come to find out, she had a Caucasian father.
Right.
And if you looked at her, you would assume that she was a fully African American woman, a full African American woman, and turns out she has a white daddy. And I said, well, and I was very intrigued by that. I said, so, why don't you look like like you got white blood in you?
Yes.
And her response was that she had a birth defect, and which caused the color of her skin to go a couple shades darker. So as a result, that mixture of her, that I was mentioning earlier, did not show up, and she came out shades darker than a typical, African American individual. So that's why I say you just never know. You never know. And if you say, you ain't white, you darker than me, and then she'll show you a picture of her daddy. Yes, I am. She was darker than me. So, like I said, you just always want to keep your mind open. You never know what people are these days.
Well, you know what? I have, let's say that my father was living here with me in Alabama. My father would not have a problem with this new immigration law because my father is a black man. He's a black Colombian. So, let's say I'm walking with my father,
mm-hmm.
and it will be so interesting, like they would require ID to me and not to my father, because I would look with the combination of my mom and my dad. I would look in between.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not black. My skin is not like my father,
mm-hmm.
and I'm not. I'm the brown, stereotypical Hispanic.
Mm-hmm.
So very interesting that it will be my father being passed by an African American here, and I will be stopped saying, "Oh, but you, can I see your ID?"
Mm-hmm.
And so interesting.
And there are a lot of Brazilians who are as dark as me. A lot of people for Brazilians who are as dark as me, and it's funny because they don't consider themselves African American or black. But see, when they come into the United States, when we see them, if they're the same shade as me, they put him next to me. They say, "Oh, that's two black guys."
Right.
And so I think sometimes race, ethnicity, all of that is defined is geographically and regionally defined. It just depends on where you are when you're being identified as to what your ethnicity is. That's how people determine it. Where you are, what part of the world are you in? If you're here, you're this race. If you're there, you're that race. Like I said, so if I were to go to
well, if you're in the Caribbean,
I was just about to say the Caribbean or Haiti or one of those places.
Every Caribbean island has the trace of course, the African ethnicity. Because of the history that tells us what happened with the slavery, so that's what we have in the Caribbean. So most of the Caribbean islands, Cuba and Puerto Rico, of course, the Dominican Republic, and in Colombia, in the Caribbean part of Colombia, where my father is from, that's all African descent. So, and of course, they don't call themselves African, Colombian. They are Colombian, or they are Dominicans, or they are whatever their country they're from, or they were born. We don't put this African or Colombian American or anything when you are in our countries. You're born there. You are a Colombian or a Venezuelan or Ecuadorian citizen, even whether you're black or white or Amerindian. So,
Mr. P, it's getting close to the time for our show.
Okay, Ed. Well, it's been a good talk, and I'm glad that I was invited to your program. And yes, thanks very much for the invitation. And anytime that you need any conversation about culture or civilizations, whether they are from Latin America or Latinos in the U.S., just let me know.
Well, Mr. P, I'm glad that you accepted my invitation to come onto the show. And I wanted, like I said, it just seems that God just always just points me to the right people to do this show. And I wouldn't have had it any other way. So I'm glad that you have allowed yourself the opportunity to be a guest on this show.
Well, thank you.
And to be a part of history that is being made here.
Well, thanks for the invite, and I will hope to have a chance to expand more, and not just in the program, but in kind of make you a little bit more inquisitive about the world you're living in.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Also, before we close out, I was given a request by the International Student Organization here on the campus of Jacksonville State University. Anyone who is a student here at the university, anyone who is a student here at Jacksonville State University, the International Student Organization, along with the Student Government Association, will be holding a Latin dance next Thursday, September 29th at 7 p.m. It will be held at the Pavilion of the Alumni House. Food and drinks will be provided. Once again, this event is being hosted by the International Student Organization and the Student Government Association. So you'll be dancing to all types of Latin music. It is going to be it's going
to be fun.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be.
It's always fun. I've been here for 5 years, and I have it every year. And everybody has a good time in their parties. Yes. So you go to the party next Thursday, and we also have a movie night on Tuesday at the International House from the Spanish Club. So yes, you all also invited to that. At 6 p.m.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, let's see. I have nothing else for you all on this evening. Please don't forget to tune in next Friday at 11 p.m. Central Standard Time, same place as always. Next week we will be discussing. I'm sorry. Oh, it's getting to that time.
It's getting late. Yes.
It's getting late. We will be discussing domestic violence. Domestic violence will be the topic for next Friday's show. Thank you all so much for listening. To all of us, hold on, let's try this again. From all of us to all of you, we are live from the Communications Building here on the campus of Jacksonville State University. Thank you for listening. God bless and have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next Friday.